All right, let's dive into incident management and response in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And really think of this as like preparing for like a fire drill,
Hmm.
but for your computer systems.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
we're going to look at some insightful articles and guides to
Such.
help you understand what to do
Yeah.
when things go wrong digitally,
Right.
minimize the damage, and
Yeah.
bounce back stronger than ever before.
For sure. And, the stakes are really high here.
Okay.
We're talking potential financial losses,
Yeah.
damage to your reputation, disrupted operations.
Right.
No one wants to deal with that.
No, nobody wants that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
let's define the battlefield here.
Okay.
What exactly are BIDIA, a security incident these days?
Right.
Is it always some shadowy hacker in a hoodie
Sure.
trying to steal your data?
Well, I mean, that's definitely a possibility, but it's really much broader than that.
Okay.
A security incident is really any event that could compromise the confidentiality. Right.
Integrity or availability of your information.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it like this.
Okay.
It's not just about someone stealing your data.
Yeah.
It's also about someone changing it without your permission.
Okay.
Or even preventing you from accessing it
Right.
when you need it.
So
Yeah.
it's not always a malicious attack.
Right.
What are some other examples
Yeah.
of security incidents?
Well, think about human error.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Accidentally deleting an important file,
Oh, for sure.
misconfiguring a server,
Yeah.
or even losing a device with sensitive data.
Right.
These things happen, and they can have some pretty serious consequences.
Yeah, they do.
And we can't forget about hardware failures.
Right.
Servers crash, power outages occur,
Yeah.
and these events can just wreak havoc
Yeah.
on your systems and data.
That makes sense. I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
But all those things could definitely compromise sensitive information.
So how do we deal with all these potential incidents?
Mm-hmm.
What are the steps involved in an effective incident response?
Well, that's where the incident response life cycle comes in.
Right.
Think of it as a roadmap
Okay.
to guide you through a security incident from the moment you detect something suspicious
Yeah.
to the point where you've recovered and learned from the experience.
A roadmap. I like that.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot less intimidating
Right.
than just facing the unknown.
Yeah.
So walk me through this roadmap.
Yeah.
What are the key stops along the way?
Sure. The first step is detection,
Okay.
which is all about setting off those alarm bells.
Yeah.
This is where you need systems in place
Okay.
to constantly monitor your network and applications for suspicious activity.
Okay.
It's also about training your employees
Right.
to recognize potential threats, like phishing emails,
Oh, yeah.
suspicious links, or
Yeah.
anything else that just seems out of place.
Okay, so kind of like having a security guard,
Exactly.
but for your digital world.
Right.
Someone who's always on the lookout for trouble.
Exactly. You need someone or
Yeah.
something
Right.
that can spot those early warning signs and alert the right people.
Mm-hmm.
The next stage is analysis.
Okay.
Once you've detected something suspicious,
Yeah.
you need to figure out what you're dealing with.
Okay.
This involves gathering evidence,
Mm-hmm.
determining the scope of the incident,
Yeah.
and identifying the root cause.
So this is where we put on our detective hats
exactly.
and start piecing together the clues.
You got it.
Yeah.
You need to understand what happened,
Right.
how it happened, and
Mhm.
how far it has spread.
Yeah.
Once you have a clear picture of the situation,
Okay.
you can move on to the next phase,
Okay.
which is containment.
Containment sounds pretty intense. What does that actually involve?
Now, the goal of containment is to stop the bleeding,
Okay.
to prevent the threat from spreading further. This might involve isolating infected systems,
Okay.
disabling compromised accounts, or even taking entire sections of your network offline.
Wow.
Think of it like quarantining a patient to prevent disease from spreading.
Mm-hmm.
You want to limit the damage
Right,
and
right.
prevent the situation from getting any worse.
Okay, that makes sense. Stop the threat in its tracks.
Yeah.
But then we have to deal with the mess it's already made, right?
You got it. After containment comes eradication.
Okay.
This is where you actually eliminate the threat. It
Mhm.
might involve removing malware,
Okay.
patching vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
or rebuilding compromised systems from scratch.
Right.
The goal is to make sure the threat is completely gone
Oh,
and
yeah.
your systems are clean.
Right.
Okay.
So we've contained the threat and eradicated it from our systems.
Right.
What happens next?
Yeah.
I'm guessing we don't just dust off our hands and call it a day.
You're absolutely right. The next phase is recovery, where you focus on getting your systems and operations back to normal.
Okay.
This might involve restoring data from backups,
Mhm.
rebuilding compromised systems,
Yeah.
and testing everything to make sure it's working properly.
Right.
It's about getting back on your feet
Okay.
and minimizing any downtime or disruption to your business.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But even after everything is back online
Mm-hmm.
and running smoothly,
Right.
I'm sensing there's one more crucial step.
Yeah.
What is it?
You're spot on. The final and arguably most important phase is learning.
Okay.
This is where you take a step back and analyze what went wrong,
Okay.
why it happened,
Mhm.
and how you can prevent it from happening again.
So it's not just about fixing the problem.
Right.
It's about understanding it
Exactly.
and learning from the experience.
Yeah.
What does that look like in practice?
Well, it's about asking questions like,
Yeah.
how did the attacker get in?
Yeah.
What vulnerabilities did they exploit? Were there any warning signs that we missed?
Right?
What could we have done differently?
Okay.
By asking these tough questions,
Yeah.
you can identify weaknesses in your systems and processes
Right.
and make changes to strengthen your defenses.
I can see how that would be incredibly valuable,
Yeah.
especially in the long run.
Absolutely.
So we've got this roadmap,
Right.
this incident response lifecycle
Mm-hmm.
to guide us.
Yeah.
But how do organizations actually put this into practice?
Well, the first step is creating a solid incident response plan.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about just a dusty document that sits on a shelf gathering dust.
Yeah.
We're talking about a living, breathing document
Of course.
that outlines roles, responsibilities, procedures,
Mhm.
and communication protocols for handling different types of incidents.
Right.
Think of it like a playbook for your team to follow in case of a security incident.
Okay, so we need a playbook.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's important to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that everyone knows their role
Right.
or what to do in case of an incident.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your incident response plan should clearly define
Okay.
who's responsible for what,
Mm-hmm.
how to escalate issues,
Yeah.
and how to communicate effectively during an incident.
Right.
And it's not enough to just create this plan and forget about it.
Okay.
You need to test it regularly,
Yeah.
conduct simulations,
Well,
tabletop exercises to make sure your team knows what to do under pressure.
Mhm.
Think of it like a fire drill.
Right.
You need to practice so you're prepared for the real thing.
Okay, so regular fire drills for our computer system.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What else can organizations do
Mm-hmm.
to prepare for those inevitable security incidents?
Well, one of the most powerful things you can do is empower your employees.
Okay.
Security awareness training is essential.
Yeah.
We need to move beyond just checking a box
Right.
and actually turn every employee into a first responder.
Okay.
They're on the front lines, interacting with technology and data every day.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Turning everyone into a first responder.
Mm.
How do we actually achieve that?
Well, it's about making security a part of your company culture.
Okay.
Train your employees to recognize phishing emails, suspicious links,
Right.
social engineering attempts,
Yeah.
and other potential threats.
Yeah.
Teach them how to report incidents
Mm-hmm.
and who to contact.
Right.
Give them the tools and knowledge they need to protect themselves
Yeah.
and the organization.
Okay.
And remember, it's not just about technical skills. It's also about fostering a security-conscious mindset.
You know, just the other day,
Mm-hmm.
I almost fell for a phishing email myself.
Really?
It looked so real.
Wow.
It was supposedly from my bank
Uh-huh.
asking me to update my account information.
Yeah.
I was about to click on the link,
Okay.
but then I noticed the sender's email address was slightly off.
Oh.
That's when the alarm bells went off in my head.
That's a perfect example of how security awareness training can pay off
Yeah,
by being alert and paying attention to those red flags.
right.
You prevented a potential security incident.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Good for you.
Okay, so we've got a solid plan.
Mm-hmm.
We're training our employees to be cyber aware.
Right.
What else can organizations do
Yeah.
to strengthen their incident response capabilities?
Well, technology plays a crucial role here.
Okay.
There are some powerful tools available that can help detect, analyze, and respond to incidents
Okay,
faster and more effectively.
that sounds great.
One of the most important tools
Okay.
is a security information and event management system,
Okay.
or SIM for short.
Okay, that's a new one for me.
Yeah.
What exactly is a SIM?
Imagine you have a security guard
Okay.
who can see everything happening on your network at once.
Mm,
That's kind of what a SIM does.
okay.
It collects logs and events from all your devices and systems,
Right.
analyzes them in real time. Okay.
And looks for patterns
Yeah.
that might indicate a security incident.
Mm.
It's like having a central command center
Okay.
for your security operations.
That sounds incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But what happens when the SIEM detects something suspicious,
Right.
does it just send out an alert?
It can do that, but it can also do a lot more.
Okay.
Modern SIEMs have built-in automation capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
They can help you respond to incidents faster.
Right.
For example, it might automatically isolate an infected system,
Okay.
block a malicious IP address,
Right.
or even disable a compromised user account.
Wow. So it's not just about detecting threats, it's
Right.
about responding to them
Exactly.
quickly and effectively.
Yeah.
Are there any other tools
Sure.
that organizations should consider?
Absolutely. Another important technology is endpoint detection and response,
Okay.
or EDR.
EDR.
As the name
Yeah.
suggests, EDR focuses on protecting individual endpoints,
Okay.
laptops, desktops, servers,
Mhm.
from threats.
It's like having a security agent on each device,
Okay.
constantly monitoring for malicious activity.
So it's like having a bodyguard
That's a great way to put it.
for each of your devices.
Yeah, EDR can detect malware,
Okay.
block malicious processes,
Mhm.
and even rollback changes made by attackers.
Wow.
It's a powerful tool for preventing and containing threats
Right.
at the endpoint level.
Okay. So SIEM for overall network visibility
Right?
and EDR for protecting individual devices.
Exactly.
Are there any other technologies
Yeah.
that are changing the game in incident response?
Yes, we're seeing the rise of extended detection and response,
Okay.
or XDR.
XDR.
Think of XDR as EDR on steroids.
Okay.
It takes the capabilities of EDR
Mhm.
and expands them across the entire IT environment,
Okay.
including cloud workloads,
Right.
email systems,
Yeah.
and more.
So it's like having a unified security force
Exactly.
that can see and respond to threats across the entire organization.
You got it. XDR provides a more holistic view of threats.
Enabling organizations to detect and respond to them more effectively.
Right.
It's about breaking down those silos
Yeah.
between different security tools
Right.
and creating a more integrated and coordinated approach to security.
All of this is fascinating.
Yeah.
But it also highlights the fact that the threat landscape is constantly evolving.
Right.
What are some of the biggest challenges that organizations are facing right now?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is the rise of targeted attacks.
Okay.
Cyber criminals are becoming more sophisticated,
Right.
and they're increasingly focusing their efforts on specific companies,
Mm-hmm.
like sharks circling their prey.
Okay, that sounds a little ominous.
Yeah.
Why are targeted attacks becoming more common?
Well, it's all about the payoff.
Okay.
Targeted attacks can be highly profitable for cyber criminals.
Right.
They can spend time researching their victims,
Mm-hmm.
identifying vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
and crafting customized attacks
Right.
designed to exploit those weaknesses.
So they're doing their homework.
Exactly out who to hit
Right.
and how to hit them where it hurts.
They're looking for the biggest bang for their buck. And this brings us to another major threat that we need to be prepared for: ransomware.
Oh, yes. Ransomware.
Yeah.
That one always sends shivers down my spine.
You're right.
What's the latest on that front?
Well, unfortunately, ransomware is still a major problem,
Right.
and it's only getting worse.
Yeah, it feels like it's constantly in the news these days.
It is. It's a type of malware that encrypts your files,
Right.
essentially holding your data hostage
Yeah.
until you pay a ransom.
It's like something straight out of a movie.
I know.
But it's all too real for a lot of businesses and individuals.
Yeah, it is. What makes it so challenging to combat?
Yeah, what makes it so challenging?
Well, the tactics are constantly evolving.
Okay.
Attackers are using more sophisticated encryption algorithms,
Right.
making it more difficult to decrypt files without paying the ransom. We're also seeing double extortion schemes,
Oh, wow.
where attackers not only encrypt your data,
Yeah.
but also threaten to leak it publicly if you don't pay up.
That's a double whammy.
It is.
So how do we protect ourselves from this ransomware menace?
Right.
Is it even possible?
Well, there's no silver bullet,
Okay.
but there are definitely things you can do
Yeah.
to reduce your risk.
Like what?
Strong passwords,
Okay.
multi-factor authentication,
Mhm.
regular backups,
Right.
security awareness training.
Okay.
These are all essential steps,
Yeah.
but you also need to be aware of another emerging threat:
Okay, what's that?
supply chain attack.
Supply chain attacks.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
What are those all about?
Well, it's about exploiting the weakest link.
Okay.
Businesses rely on a network of suppliers and vendors.
Right.
Cyber criminals are realizing that they can often gain access to a target's systems
Mm-hmm.
by compromising one of these third parties.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
If you can compromise a software vendor,
Right.
You can potentially inject malicious code into a software update
Yeah.
that gets distributed to thousands of customers.
So it's like sneaking in through the back door.
Exactly.
That's pretty clever if you're a cyber criminal, I guess.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. How do we protect ourselves from these supply chain attacks?
Yeah, how do we do that?
Well, it starts with due diligence.
Okay.
Vet your vendors carefully.
Right.
Understand their security practices.
Mhm.
And make sure they have strong security controls in place.
Okay.
Don't just assume that your vendors are secure.
Right.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Get proof.
Okay.
And monitor their security posture.
Okay, so vet our vendors.
Yeah.
Monitor their security.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like vigilance is key here.
It is.
But with all these threats and challenges,
Right.
it's easy to feel overwhelmed.
I know.
What's the main takeaway here? What's
Yeah.
the one thing our listeners should remember? Yeah, it does kind of feel like a digital arms race sometimes.
It is.
With all these constantly evolving threats, how can we possibly keep up?
Well, I think the key takeaway here is that incident management and threat response, they aren't just nice to haves.
Right.
They're essential for survival in today's digital world.
Yeah.
It's about being proactive, being prepared,
Right.
and being resilient.
So not just hoping for the best,
Right.
but actually having a plan
Exactly.
and being ready to act
Yeah,
when something inevitably goes wrong.
precisely. And remember, cybersecurity is a journey,
Okay.
not a destination.
Right.
It's a continuous process of learning, adapting, and improving.
Okay.
There's always going to be a new threat,
Right.
a new vulnerability, a new challenge to overcome.
I guess that's what makes it both challenging and exciting, right?
Yeah.
It's like a game of chess.
Right.
Where you're constantly trying to anticipate your opponent's next move.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
But the good news is we're not playing this game alone.
Okay.
There are resources, tools, and communities out there to help us.
Right.
And by working together,
Yeah.
sharing information, learning from each other's experiences,
Right.
we can definitely stay ahead of the curve.
I'm definitely feeling a lot more confident after this deep dive.
Good.
We've learned so much about the importance of incident response,
Yeah.
the steps involved, and the tools and strategies
Right.
that can help us protect ourselves.
I hope so.
So
Yeah.
as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
here's a challenge for everyone listening.
All right.
What one action will you take today
Mm-hmm.
to improve your own cybersecurity posture?
Yeah. It could be something as simple as changing your passwords,
Yes.
enabling multi-factor authentication,
Okay.
or backing up your important data.
Mhm.
Or maybe it's having a conversation with your IT team
Yeah.
about your organization's incident response plan.
Every step counts.
Yeah.
And remember, cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility.
It is.
We all have a role to play in creating a safer and more secure digital world.
Well said. Let's work together to make that happen.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into incident response.
Appreciate it.
Until next time, stay curious,
Yeah.
stay informed,
Stay safe.
and stay safe.